enjoy more the ride. I think that I was able to do a lot of really good things, but sometimes the pressure maybe covered a little bit the really good moments on my career.
He grew up taking the bus to the library to find answers his parents couldn't give him. He taught himself how to code before there were courses that could teach him exactly that. He was in the room for every wave of the internet, from the first Brazilian websites to Facebook to AI. And somewhere along the way, he learned that enjoying the ride matters as much as getting to that destination. Join me and Eduardo Villalba while we look back in the Retrovisor. Hi, Edu. Welcome. I'm very excited to have you here in the Retrovisor, in the Retrovisor. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. It is Friday, so it's always good. Thank you for having me here.
Yes. No, pleasure. I think that the theme of this podcast is all about looking back and making sense, and we will dive into your career. But I always like to start looking way back. And we known each other for a very long time, but I don't think that I know about Edu when he was an 8-year-old. So let's start by that. Let's look at back. Tell me, where in the world were you when you were 8, and what would you used to love doing as an 8-year-old?
Oh my God. I believe that the images, they come in black and white. This week I was showing to my daughter some photos from my childhood, and she was like, oh God. The photos, they were really bad because we didn't have the technology that we have today. I believe that I may be one of the first geeks here in Brazil because since really young, I really like technology. I like to play with insects, so with ants and all these things. But I had this passion to understand how things works. So if I have VHS, I want to understand how the VHS use it to work. I open my TV, and at that time the TVs, they were the big ones with the tube and all these things. So we didn't call that technology, but trying to understand things. I was a very shy kid. I was very different from the other kids from my childhood because I really liked to play outside my home and everything. But I was the one that it was always questioning everything. So asking a lot of questions, trying to understand things. And my friends, they were always trying to play and play soccer. And I was terrible. So I used my time to learn and read a lot as well.
Nowadays, I feel like every question that my kids ask me, if I don't know the answer, I can easily go to AI and go and search for the answer. But back then, there was no such thing. Did you believe that you found the answers, or were you always asking and asking?
Interesting, because I started going to the library really early. I think that kids, they could go and take the bus alone and go to other places. So now you can't do that anymore. But I believe with maybe 12 years old, I was taking the bus and going to the library, for example. I really liked to read. So I don't feel that my parents, they have all the answers at that time. So I figured out how to find the answers, and maybe I created my own answers as well.
I love the fact that, basically, if you can think of a parallel between going to AI in the palm of our hands and just taking the bus and going to the library and finding those answers. Okay, so you mentioned that you were more of an introvert, which is very different to who knows you, who has worked with you. I mean, I could picture that kid being a bit of an introvert, but also far from the Edu that everyone knows. And I hope that it will come across in the episode. Tell me about your choice with your studies. How did you choose what to study at university, and how did that introvert kid started molding into this more of an extrovert?
I feel that I'm in a kind of balance between being an introvert, but someone that wants to explain everything. This is my problem. This is why maybe sometimes I feel that I'm a really shy and introvert, but at the same time, I want to talk and explain why I think this way. And I believe for me, everything started when I got my first job. I started working when I was 16 years old, and I started as a courier. The person that everything to the company, go to the bank, pay all the bills, go and deliver something. And it was funny because it was a company that they used it to assemble computers in
You found all the answers.
1996, I think. It was a long time ago, and they use it to assemble computers. And I started working in this company, and after 1 year, I was helping them to assemble and install the Windows 95. And this gave me a lot of opportunities to use my abilities to try to fix things, learn about things, open everything, and try to solve it and understand. And after 1 year, I was working with them. So for me, it was a very natural path. And after that, in Brazil in 98, we started having internet for everyone. So internet started being more open to everyone. And I was working in a technology company, if I can call them technology at that time, with access to internet, assembling computers. I started opening all the websites and trying to understand how they built that website. I remember that the first website that I opened was the one from Netscape. And I said, they are doing that. How they can put images in this big? I started reading all the codes and trying to create my own websites. And after almost, I think in 1998, I moved it to a World Health Organization. Here in Brazil, they are called OMS. And they wanted to build a virtual library for all the articles, the scientific articles and everything. And I was the one at that time that really knows how to do that. So and it was funny because they were looking for intern, but I wasn't at the college at that time. So I went there, I did the interview, I explained all my skills, and the guy said to me, "Oh, good, but what's your university?" And I said, "I'm not going to the university. I know because I learned it by myself, alone, reviewing codes." The guy said, "You are not at school doing database something or whatever the course they were looking," because it was really new. There wasn't any university preparing you to build something at the internet, creating websites. So I came back home, and the day after, the guy called me and said, "Look, you need to do something. You need to go to a university, do a technical course or whatever, because you're going to start on Monday." And I said, "Okay, perfect."
Fine.
Do it.
Oh, wow.
Now, it was really hard to find someone with these skills. But since they were a kind of NGO with this big focus on build stuff, they needed to find someone at university, at college at that time. And they hired me. I started not the university, I started another course. And I stayed there for 1 year. And we launched their virtual library called Cielo. And it was really good because every time when I review my career, I believe that I was in a very disruptive moment for each of the companies because they were trying to do something different, something new. If you think that kind of NGO like who, they were building a virtual library to put all the articles on the internet. It was crazy. I'm talking about 98.
I think that this is the greatest example that I've heard. And I didn't know this. We had many, many conversations, and I never heard you tell me that story. But I mean, I think that it's fantastic. I feel like it's similar to what I feel nowadays of when I think of my 8-year-old going to university, whereas I'm not sure that what it exists today will help him get the job of the future. And I think that what you're describing is just that. And I also love the fact that you went back to, helping a library become online as that 12-year-old was taking the bus to investigate.
And it's incredible because I feel that most of this also comes from my parents. Because if you believe that in 96, 98, people, they were trying to be architects, engineers, doctors. And I said, I don't want to go to university because I want to work with technology. I want to build computers. And they were like, what the hell is a computer? What the hell is in the internet? We don't care about that. You need to do something. But they never pushed me to not follow what I believe at that time it was the right thing to do. For me, it was good because when Sometimes you are an introvert, you want to do something, but just sometimes it's really hard to explain to people why you want to do that, why this is important. So, and for your parents, they always want the best for you. So, and you say, I don't want to go to university. I don't believe this is for me because I like to learn alone. I like to find things and solve my things alone.
I feel like we will see a lot of you having a hard time explaining what is it that you do later on in your career to to your parents and to your family.
And I like to do this connection between my career and the way that my parents they understand what I do, because I remember when I joined Facebook in 2011, and I told my father, look, I just joined this company, it's called Facebook, it is amazing, it's new, they are coming to Brazil. And my father said, what the hell is Facebook? He was 60 years old at that time. After a long time, I joined 11 Labs, and I said to my father, look, I just joined this company, it's amazing, they are an AI company, and they clone voices. The first thing that my father said was, oh, Reinaldo Azevedo from Band Radio, he lost his voice for 2 months, and he was using your technology to do the program. I said, but you know, has 80 years old and he knows about AI. So this is the difference between technology a long time ago and nowadays. They know that exists.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. My mum used this phrase of like, ask the agentic technology, and she uses the whole phrase. So she doesn't use ask AI. But she kind of knows that like it's a place to go and ask questions. And similar to you, when I was so excited to join Facebook back in 2013, my parents were happy because I was happy, not because they knew exactly it was that I was meant to do. So I think that you continue with technology. Tell us a bit more about how you get into online advertising.
After my internship without college, I joined a big magazine here in Brazil called Isto É, and they wanted to create the first website with full free content from the magazine and try to get their money through advertising. So it was a very ambitious goal because they wanted to upload all the content right after they close the magazine. So before the magazine goes to the newsstands, they were uploading all the content. It was, this is why when I say companies that were trying to be disruptors, because it was really hard to see that. At that time, New York Times, they were closing their content for subscribers. All the other magazines, they were doing the same, and they decided to go with all content for free and try to get money from advertising. At that time, I was a webmaster. We were building content, uploading everything, trying to track the results from advertising. But at that time, I started feeling that I was doing something that I really like it, but I wasn't able to show everything that I wanted. I didn't have a phone on my desk. I was there just to upload the website and do this kind of technical work. And I started feeling that if I wanted to keep growing on my career, I need to start talking to people. And for me, it was maybe the way that I found that I need to change. And after almost 5 or 6 years, I did my college at that time. I decided to change. And I joined Terra, an internet portal. And at that time, I think it was maybe the shift on my career, because I joined the commercial area to work with operations. So I was the one checking, creating the banners, finding technological solutions for the advertising, but I was in a commercial team. So I was exposed. I was in all the meetings trying to explain in a very nice way all the technical stuff. And for me, it was a big shift because I felt that I created a really good connection on things that I really want to do and good ways that I can explain that things. So for me, it was always like, I know what I know, but if I don't tell to people that I know that and I can explain that in a very nice way, why I'm learning that, why I'm doing that. So for me, it was very positive because at that time, Terra was maybe not the number one in Brazil, but maybe the number two. They had Netflix before Netflix because we had Terra TV and we were broadcasting Friends right after the episodes on TV. We had Sonora. Sonora was Spotify before Spotify. So Terra bought the rights for the Olympic Games, Beijing and London. So it was crazy because at that time, DoubleClick was bought by Google, but it was on the same headquarters that they have now in New York. I don't know if they changed it or not, but it was really cool because I was having contact with the best technology in the world, with the best content, and doing really crazy things. Sometimes we were doing crazy things because it was in a moment that everyone was testing everything at the internet. So we were broadcasting all the Olympic Games in 14 channels. So with banners, with all the communications, measuring everything, selling that to advertisers. And after almost 6 years, I got an invitation to join Facebook. So sent me a message and asked me if I wanted to go and do the process.
And before we jump into Facebook, that's where we met. I love the fact that you were able to see that need for growing, for changing, to progress in your career, to go from that more of an introvert to then be able to work with technology, but explaining very hard, complicated subjects to commercial people that do not have that technology background. Did anyone give you any advice at that time?
We always had someone that helped us to move forward. At that time, I was in my college, and I think some of the professors they helped me a lot to understand my potential and my potential and what I can be. But you're gonna be in a bubble that you don't have access to all the teams in a company. You're gonna help, but you are not a decision maker at the end of the day if you don't bring your voice to the discussion. And I felt that if I don't be my opinion, I'm gonna be the one just delivering things and not helping the company to move forward. So I started believing that providing this kind of feedback and creating more interactions can also give me better opportunities to do bigger things inside the company.
I mean, it's still fantastic that you were able to see that and to have that idea of growing. So you get that message to join Facebook. Tell us, where were you in the world and how many people were back then in the Facebook office?
Good question. I think at that time when I got the message, I was in a very good position because I was in a really good company, doing a lot of things that I really like it to do. And when I got the message from Facebook, I was like, I don't know if I want to go and do all the process because I had a really bad experience at that time with Google. When Google came to Brazil, they also asked me to join Google. I did all the process, and at that time, I think until now, maybe hiring processes for big techs, they were really, really hard. I remember that at Meta, I had 14 interviews. So in English, in Spanish, in Portuguese. And it was really hard because, first of all, in 2011, we didn't have really good VCs. So video conferences, they were really bad. Most of the interviews, they were through the phone. So for someone that I believe that after Meta, my English improved a lot, but I use it to speak in Spanish almost all day because Terra was a Spanish company. So doing interviews in English, they were really hard. But after 14 interviews, I got the offer and I said no. I said, I don't want to go to Meta because I was really happy at Terra. And for me, it was like, I don't know if I need to change because I'm in a really good position. And at that time, Alexandre called me and said, look, I understand your moment. You are in a really good company, but you are there for 6 years. Do you believe that you're going to do something different in the next 6 years? And I said, I don't know, but it's nice. And he said, okay, it can be nice, but you can maybe make history here if you join Facebook because it's going to grow and it's going to be big. And I told him about the processes at Google when Google joined it. And Alexandre was well known here in Brazil because he was the first VP at Google at that time. And he called me, look, if you come, you're going to work with me. If you tried to work at Google, you're going to work with me as well. So now I'm here and I want you. do you want to come? And I said, I don't know if I can say no now because I can't remember other CEO, VP, or whatever calling me to ask me to work with him. So if you are asking me, I'm gonna go. I can't say no. And I joined it. At that time, we were 10 employees in Brazil in a really small room with a big competitor. At that time, Orkut was really big here in Brazil, and we were trying to figure out how to use Salesforce because nobody had any experience with Salesforce. It is really nice because you have a really good support from people from the headquarters, but you need to learn, you need to understand. And we were there trying to figure out how to use the Salesforce. We didn't have local entities, so everything was paid in US dollars, and you need to be the face of the company in the market. So it was a really good moment. I think I learned a lot, and I had the opportunity to grow a lot as a professional.
I think that he was right saying that probably in the next 6 years, you were going to do something probably different every single day. You were there for more than a decade. How did that experience change you? And when you look back at it, what would you say it's what you like the most about being there?
It's crazy because when I joined it, I don't think that I believe that I'm gonna work for us 12 years in the same company. For me, it was like it's for very old people working in these very old companies. When I joined it, Facebook, I was like, okay, then I joined it. I'm gonna work maybe for 6 years, the same time that I work at Meta. If you take my resume, you're gonna see that I worked in a few companies, but for a long time. So I was like, my biggest goal was 6 years, and I doubled that at Meta. The main thing for me was the main motivator, the main thing that made me feel really good working at Meta or Facebook. It was the people. When we see everything that it's happening in the world, I believe at that time working at Meta, we had people that were looking to do something good for the world. Maybe I don't know now, but things changed a little bit. But at that time, people, I truly believe that everyone was with really good intentions at the end of the day. And maybe because of the processes, because of the technology, or maybe because the company was too young, maybe we took decisions that they were not the best, but not because we wanted to do something bad, but because we were trying. And it was a moment that it was allowed to try. Yeah, maybe today you can't do that because you are involving data from people. Now we have better regulation. And I think if we didn't test all these things and maybe created some problems, I don't think we're gonna get the same laws that we have today that protect the people's data and support people through the online channels.
I couldn't agree more. I think that the feeling of working there was we're doing something good, we're connecting the world, and it is true. Like, we're building that, giving people that possibility of being always connected. And I think that it's a different responsibility what it comes when you have more than 2 billion users versus what it was back in the day.
Progress says with great powers comes great responsibility. I'm a geek, as I said. I love this quote.
Me too. I even take it to trainings and people go like, I can't believe that you just quoted that. But yes. It's good that you catch it. It's clearly that we worked together for a long time. Edu, you're now at 11 Labs. So you continue to be at the forefront of technology with the difference that now your dad basically knows what is it that the company does, basically. For anyone that doesn't know what 11 Labs is, tell us a bit what is 11 Labs and what's your role at 11 Labs.
11 Labs, it is a company or maybe a research company that build AI agents with voice. So our main focus, it is to research about voice and create very natural and very not human, but very humanized synthetic voices. So it is a company that build this very natural and emotional voices that can be used with AI agents. And today I lead marketing for Brazil.
Okay. What is it like to be a marketer of an AI product? And how do you feel that it's different to back in the day being a marketer at, let's say, Meta or any of the jobs before that?
Yes, I think I was in all the digital waves. So the first one with the beginning of the internet, after that with Terra and all the banners and advertising, digital advertising, after that with all the social media wave. And now with AI, the AI wave, I think everything moves really fast. Everyone, that there is this big hype. It is true. I feel that things they move really fast. Everyone knows about AI. Everyone wants to use AI, but at the end of the day, they don't know why they need AI. So I think my main mission is to explain why. And sometimes I can say, no, you don't need, because you need to change your process. It's not AI. It is your process. So if you want to change something, start changing your process, because AI now in the moment that we live today, AI, it is just one more tool. I think AI will change and become something different, but today it is still a tool. So a tool to solve X, Y, Z, you want to improve your call center, you can use an AI agent, but it is a tool. It is still a tool, because you have a problem and you need to solve something. So you do the same thing with a hammer. If you have a problem, you're gonna use the hammer and that's it. But in the future, I don't believe we're gonna need to talk about AI. AI will be on my microphone, will be on my monitor, will be in a movie that I'm gonna watch, and we don't need to think that, okay, AI is here. Look, AI is amazing. Look, this AI. Yeah, I think these things they will change, because there is no coming back from this moment. But it is still a lot of things happening, and the world needs to have these hypes and all these news and new products and new tools. But things will maybe settle in the coming years, I believe, and we're gonna see more companies focusing more on build maybe B2B stuff for AI and less B2C, because on B2C they will be on my phone, as I mentioned, they will be on my microphone, and I don't care about that.
Yeah, like people will use AI as they do nowadays, probably the microwave. Okay, I feel like though there is a, you said you went through all the waves. If you would have to choose one pivotal moment in your career, I feel like this conversation has already been about pivotal moments of Edu changing for the wave. But if you would have to change a pivotal moment in your career, what would you choose?
I believe when I joined Facebook, because as I mentioned, I was the introvert that was passionate about coding and do things. I joined Meta, and after 4 months, I got promoted to be a manager. And I was like a team of one, doing all my things, being responsible for just my work, and provide visibility about my work to lead a team. And when you do this change, I believe everything changes, because it's not just you, it's your team. You need to not just give them feedback, help them to grow their career. You need to protect them sometimes. Organizational environment, it's not an easy place to be. And I don't think that we can have really good professionals, but sometimes they don't need to be in the front of all this political stuff in a company. And I understood that my job when I moved from an IC, an individual contributor, be a manager, changed everything, because I was the one promoting my own work, and I changed it to promote other people's work the best way possible. I saw that my visibility needs to come from my team and not from my work. Because if I put my work in front of everything, I'm gonna maybe shadow my team in an evaluation evaluation or a performance review. So I believe this changed me a lot and maybe made me a better professional because of that. Understanding better the people needs in a company's environment. So understands the needs from them.
That's fantastic to hear because I think that I always had you as a very human type of manager. But I think that what you're putting into words, it's what was translated. And I think that it's not the most common thing for managers. I feel like some people are promoted because they're good at their job and they leave that people side just to focus on impact. And at the end of the day, you're just working with people. And so it's nice to hear. That's what I'm saying. Edu, I have the two last questions for you. The first one being if you would be able to give a piece of advice to that Edu that was maybe assembling computers, maybe wanting to explain things. What would be one piece of advice that you would like to give that Edu?
Enjoy more the ride because I think I came from a middle low class family and you always need to focus on be a provider, receive a good salary. And sometimes this maybe close your eyes to everything that you can deliver, you can learn, you can show to people on a daily basis. So if I can think a little bit more, maybe I'm gonna enjoy a little bit the more this moment. I think that I was able to do a lot of really good things, but sometimes the pressure maybe covered a little bit the really good moments on my career. So what I'm gonna do maybe different. It's not to put so much pressure on being the best moment of your life every time. So try to be more enjoy a little bit more.
Enjoy the ride. Yes. And funny enough, I don't like to brief people on the last question, but if you would be able to send this podcast to Edu, but 20 years from now, what would you hope to say to him?
I hope you are enjoying your rest because in 20 days for all, I hope I didn't need to work anymore. I hope you are enjoying your daughter with 20 years old, 24 years old, creating a lot of big messes. But I think for now, I feel that at 11 Labs today, I don't feel I only have a lot of pressure, but I can enjoy more the moment because when I joined it 11 Labs, before that I was learning a lot about AI. So I built an LLM open source. I was learning a lot. I paused my career to learn about AI. And when I joined it, the company, for me it was good because it was more a kind of process of keep learning, but also showing and talking and explaining. And it's always very exciting to meet people and talk about this because I'm not this crazy people that believes that technology will come to destroy the world. I truly believe that all the technology comes to maybe for the good, but the way that we, as I the same as example that I mentioned, technology it's also a tool. The hammer can fix something, but can also kill someone. So I believe technology comes normally for the good, but we also have people that wants to do the bad. So I hope technology keeps improving and evolving, and I hope that the next wave I'm gonna be maybe sitting at the beach and not start trying to take the next wave with a margarita or what mojito.
We'll ride that wave. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't think so. I'm getting old. Now I work in a company that maybe I'm one of the oldest.
Well, Edu, this has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for taking the time. And as always, it was wonderful to see you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. And again, good luck with the podcast. It's really nice to have this kind of open conversation.